The janitor was just there to mop the floor, but accidentally entered the top corporation's confidential meeting room. At that moment, the CEO was distressed that the company was being targeted by the joint attack of the four major families. Since the market opened, the company's stock price had dropped more than 19%, resulting in a loss of $30 billion. It was on the verge of collapse. The business elites present had no solution. They said the company going bankrupt was already an undeniable fact. The janitor saw this scene and said the CEO had raised a bunch of useless people. Faced with such a low-level business assault, none of them could come up with anything. The CEO's secretary stood up and scolded her, a mere janitor, for daring to speak nonsense in front of the CEO. The CEO also frowned and told the janitor to leave at once, but the janitor firmly told the CEO that she could help him and that this was the company's last chance to be saved. The CEO let the janitor try. The janitor sat down, did some operations on the computer, and the stock price began to rise. It soon returned to the opening price. Everyone in the conference room stared at the data on the big screen with looks of shock and delight. The company was saved. The CEO asked the janitor how she did it. The janitor didn't answer his question, only said she had helped the CEO and asked the CEO to grant her one request. The janitor said she had heard that the CEO's company was developing a medical project, and she wanted the CEO to assign that project to a company she designated. To repay the janitor, the CEO agreed readily. The secretary reminded the CEO not to forget the blind date his grandmother arranged for him that afternoon. The CEO glanced at the broom the janitor left behind and told the secretary there was no need to attend the blind date. Elsewhere, the janitor was riding a tricycle collecting recyclables. A fleet of luxury cars stopped in front of her. The janitor saw her billionaire father get out of one of the cars and complained that even though she was disguised as a janitor, he still recognized her. The billionaire told his daughter that she had been cleaning one day and collecting recyclables the next. Living this way for 3 years already, it was time to stop. She should return home and inherit the family business. But the girl said she liked this kind of life. It allowed her to earn her own money and kept her husband from feeling inferior due to their identity gap. The billionaire's secretary reminded the girl that her husband's company had been growing bigger thanks to her secret help. There was no need for her to hide her identity any longer. The girl thought the secretary made a good point and said she would find a chance to tell her husband. Watching the girl ride away on her tricycle, the billionaire told the secretary as long as the girl was happy, everything would go her way. The girl happily returned home. Just as she arrived at the door, she saw her husband driving back. She handed the bouquet she prepared to her husband. The husband expressionlessly took the flowers, opened the back door of the car, and helped a woman get out. Then he gave the flowers to that woman. The girl stared at her husband in disbelief and asked what was going on. The husband handed the girl a divorce agreement and said the gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. They were no longer suitable to live together. The woman behind the husband picked up a document and said this was the medical project she helped him secure, worth $10 billion. They would attend the signing ceremony tomorrow night. A janitor like the girl wasn't worthy to stand beside the man. The girl took a look and realized it was the very same project she got for her husband by helping the CEO earlier today. She never expected that it would become the reason her husband wanted to divorce her. The girl was heartbroken. She said that 3 years ago, she married her husband when he had nothing, quietly supporting and helping him. That's how his company was built step by step. Now that he finally landed a big project, he no longer saw her as worthy. The husband interrupted the girl, saying it was precisely